Hello there. This is Rom Wills coming back at you with yet another video. I'm gonna have to start saying podcast. Anyway, right? The black men are not building narrative. And let me shout out one of my occasional commenters, Nkrumah for inspiring me to do this, because he had made a comment, right? He said too many black women are caught up into the black man ain't shit narrative, right? And that is deep. I'm gonna tell you the truth. I'm just doing something brief on it today, but that's a deep thing. I almost thought about coming up with a pay video on that. I mean, we're talking an hour and a half, and I still might do something, because that is a constant complaint, or I shouldn't even say a complaint, a constant accusation of black women that, they don't want to support black men because black men aren't building, and another variation of that is the whole black man working thing. Like, if a black man has a job, he's doing something. And, that's, first of all, the whole black men ain't building shit is bullshit. All you got to do is look at history. I mean, if you sitting in a black church that was founded by a black man, that's a black man building. If you have a child, or even know of a child that's going to an independent school, or somebody just has some classes or something, those are black men building. In most cases, you got a few by women, but it's mostly black men doing that. Any businesses that are built up by black men, that's a black man building, whether it's a barbershop or whether it's a little factory, whether it's a doctor's office or practice or something like that. I mean, the history is there. If you look at organizations, if you look at the fraternities, if you look at organizations like the Masons, they have built, even if you got brothers out there doing stuff just part-time. I knew this brother, he worked as a security guard, yet in his spare time, he had a program where he was teaching children, boys primarily, computer programming, sports, doing some after-school stuff. I remember back in the day when I was actually in the sportswear business. Yeah, y'all know I had 1,001 jobs and businesses. Back when I was in the sportswear business, I stopped by this one store. It was in the D.C. area. It was on 8th Street, right? It's like this store owned by some brothers, right? And they had some clothes in there. I was going to get my shirts in there, but they also had a program for after school kids, and these were young guys, and these were the type of guys that people would label thugs and not doing anything, yet they had something, But it's all, no matter what, these women say, oh, they ain't building. Well, you got two things with that. The first thing, these women ain't really looking. And that goes into the second thing. Why aren't they looking? See, understand something. That whole black man ain't shit narrative. I say it just not building narrative because I didn't feel like getting flagged for the title. But let's call it what it is. The whole black man ain't shit narrative. That thing started in the 60s and 70s. First of all, with the whole Great Society program, and when many black women is part of that counterinsurgency from the civil rights movement. Yes, it was a counterinsurgency. And I'm just going to put it out there right now. If I know I come on here and I joke about drinking moonshine and got that southern accent, and I just be up here like I'm just chilling at a barbershop. But if we want to get deep in political or deep in metaphysical, deep in religious, oh shoot, I can go down a PhD level. And let's be real about the things that happen. That thing where all of a sudden black women were able to get social programs, get welfare or whatever from the state, but the condition was they couldn't have a man in the house. That was a counterinsurgency. In fact, that was a counterinsurgency against the movement. That was a counterinsurgency against the black family. Because one of the things in this country, and you know what, I need to do a channel that's just on just some pure deep stuff, some politics, some metaphysics, all of that. Because we need to have some real history out here, right? And I applaud the brothers on YouTube who do that, who like actually try to drop some history, right? But check it out. You know, that was a counterinsurgency against the movement. That was a counterinsurgency against the family, because the black family was getting too large. You know, there used to be the average amount of children in a black family was 4 children, right? 4 children per family, right? And also the black couple was the most stable couple in this country prior to the 50s. So there was some deep stuff going on there, especially when you consider abortion clinics are primarily located in black neighborhoods. But as I said, that's going into another direction. And let me know if there's a demand for me to have a channel just devoted to politics. Forget the relationships, but the politics, even though relationships are in there. Or some social movements, some propaganda, you know, all that stuff, all the other stuff that I don't necessarily cover on this channel or don't cover on my business channel. Let me know. I need to know there's a demand, because stuff like that is really work to put together. It's working time, and I prefer to spend more time with my sons. But let me not get off too much on a tangent. But so you had that, they were getting that, but then you had what I actually did a pay video on, the rise of the Amazon woman. And from that actually really came feminism. Now, part of the one thing I said in the videos about the Amazon woman, right? They ain't necessarily lesbian or gay, you know, or, you know, lesbian or bisexual, not necessarily. But you still have many of them that are, right? And then, you know, you add feminism to it. Now, an argument that these two groups have, because, you know, a feminist and a lesbian or something like that, they're not necessarily the same thing. And let's be clear, and I've said in a video, I don't have anything against butch lesbians. That's why I've never said anything negative. And what I'm about to say now is just putting out some reality. It's not negative, it just is, right? But you have to understand, you have two groups who are not necessarily on the black man's side and is going to praise them. Like with lesbians. You know what? They do their thing, especially butch lesbians, right? But they're not going to be necessarily extolling the virtues of black men. They might appropriate the behavior of black men, but they ain't going to be extolling the virtues of black men. And it's not even for a thing of hate or dislike. It's a thing of competition. Understand something about lesbians, why they wouldn't say anything positive about black men. They competing for the same women. There was a movie, for those who remember, especially the old heads, Spike Lee's first movie, She Gotta Have It. You know, you have the character Enola Darling, who's in a relationship with 3 different men, right? You know, and she's just running. She's liberated, you know, practicing that polyamory before it was a term, or polyandry, really, right? There was a scene in there where, you know, this lesbian was trying to get with her, and she was talking hella trash against the men. It wasn't a long scene, but you know what? It was part of the game. They compete. And any aggressive lesbian, no. Any aggressive one, they know what they gonna compete. They gonna try to put down the men, and it's no different really than when nice guys put down thugs, or when thugs called good men lames. All it is competition. I don't have any hate for it, but it is what it is. They're gonna say stuff, or even some women who may not be on the aggressive side, they might be on the more feminine side. Shoot, they're gonna have to have a justification why they doing what they doing instead of just saying this is me. So what they going to do? They're going to put down the men. And if you check out an honest look at books starting from back in the day that defamed the black man in any way, the authors, even if they are not lesbian themselves, they have connections with the community. And like I said, I don't see it as hate. I don't see it as hate at all. I see it as competition. You know? I mean, I remember one time I'm with my girlfriend at this event. She looking all nice and stuff. This aggressive lesbian is trying to mack her right in front of me. I'm like, are you kidding? I've had straight up thugs who respected me more than that. And I'm just like, damn, you can't just bust in the face or anything. I mean, my girl handled it, but I was just like, bold as shit. And it was like, nah, it's a competition thing. So you getting that. And then you got the women on the feminist tip, hardcore. The very nature of it is men ain't shit. So you got black men ain't shit. I mean, it's overall. I mean, if we want to be real, it's overall. It's affecting white communities and not so much Hispanic communities unless they become really assimilated. That's one thing I give Hispanic men. They ain't playing that shit to the same extent. But, so you got these two groups primarily. Their whole ideology has to put down men. One from a competition thing, one from, it's still a competition thing, really, even from feminists. They got to be able to justify their ideology. To justify how they living, how they being independent. Now, they can't be saying, I'm going to be strong and independent, not because of something within them, but because, I got to do all this because the men ain't doing well. And that's where a lot of it's coming from. And see, a lot of women, younger women, picking up on it, not thinking where. But see, a lot of times they were raised by their mothers. Their mothers had that ideology one way or the other and passed it on to their children. They raised their children in it. And indeed, especially if they were single mothers, they raised their sons in it. Because you got a lot of men. Look, that's a reason why you might have, you got a lot of men complaining about, a lot of women rather, complaining about how many men are behaving in a feminine manner. Well, if these men are raised in a household where the woman is on that black man ain't shit thing, the woman, she is not going to encourage any behavior in the boy that reflects that masculine energy. She's going to do what she can to suppress it. I mean, you have instances now of women dressing their sons up as girls because they don't like that masculine energy. So they're going to promote it. And if a little child, unless he just got, I don't know, just that really strong will, he's going to go with it because he's going to want to please mommy. And in some cases, mommy and mommy. And I've seen this. We just got to be real with it. And I know some people say this is bashing and all of that stuff. Nah, go ahead and flag it, but look, I'm being honest with it, because I'm gonna tell you what I'm saying, what I'm doing, because and people who saw my How I Learned the Game video, they know I went through some shit as a child. I don't want to see that for anybody. So if I gotta hurt some feelings to make sure some other child don't go through that shit, I will do it. If I gotta sacrifice my life to see it don't happen, I will do it. If I have to sacrifice your life, I will do it, because it was some bullshit. So we have to be honest. We can't talk around shit now. We've been doing that too long, and the shit's getting worse out here. So if we're going to look at that whole black man ain't shit ideology, we got to ask, okay, where's it really coming from? And we don't even have to add in, because it's obvious how the greater society got something against black males. So, that's a problem there. But then when you get it within the community, because here's the thing, no matter what the outside community does, if within the community, black men are celebrated, black men are recognized, black men are validated, what the outer community does means nothing. If you want to defeat someone, they have to be defeated within. Then if they are strong within, nothing without can defeat them. Even in a situation where that population is a prisoner of war, they still have their strength. You can't defeat it. But if within the community you have black women constantly saying black men aren't shit, if you have black women only supporting the men who want to exhibit yin qualities, you're going to have a problem. So I'm going to have to point it out. So when you think about that narrative, first of all, you hear that narrative is easily disproved. It's easily disproved. Because men have been building, men have continued to build. Right? But then you got to look at, okay, where's it coming from? It's coming from women who have a natural axe to grind against men, who are competing with men on one hand, who are trying to be men on another hand, and including some, like I said, supported by some men who, quite frankly, not sure which side they should be on. So I'm gonna throw that, I'm putting that out there, right? You know, let's look at the origin of it. Understand where it's coming from. When you hear that, understand where that origin is coming from. All right, where it is, and also understand, regardless of what you hear, regardless of what's being said, nothing beats the truth. You know, I know this very powerful brother. He used to always say, "There's no religion higher than truth." You know, and the truth is so powerful, it can destroy any lie, all lies. It can destroy, a single arrow of truth can destroy a whole fortress of lies. So that's all I had to say about that one. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.